and he brainstormed with Jace, and the two bottom cards stuck together, and he accidentally drew 4 cards.
Oh,
and he was about to get a game loss. And his opponent, Javier Arevalo, in a tournament where he's playing for $10,000 in top 8 contention, was before the judge, while they were calling over a judge, said, you know what, you are going to win this game anyway. I would feel terrible if I did this to you. I'm going to concede.
That's how you do it.
Conceded to him, and that's awesome. And that type of thing, like, really, really, you know, it makes you happy to be a member of the community.
Yeah.
And you want to know what happened to Javier Arevalo? He won out,
top 8.
Didn't lose another match all day, and he's in the top 8. So hats off to Javier Arevalo. If you ever play against him, just concede because he deserves it.
He just so he goes on to just win every event from now on that he enters, because everybody concedes to him.
I would. All right, also in the top 8, we have Max Tietz. If you're from the Northeast area, then you definitely recognize the name. Qualifies for the Pro Tour all the time. Super strong player. Top 8's just about every PDQ.
I saw him outside lifting a car actually earlier.
Yeah,
he just
unreal.
Just for fun, yeah.
So happy to see Max Tietz in this top 8. Somebody who plays Magic on and off. Good to see him doing well in a tournament. Also in the top 8, Drew Levin, Legacy Master. This top 8 is Legacy, and nobody really knows the format as well as Drew does.
Drew
so it's an
is
exciting
a
proposition for him. Now, Nick Spagnuolo is going to be playing against Josh Ravitz in the first round.
Josh Ravitz,
Josh
old
Ravitz
school player.
Is an old school pro. You know, plays Magic regularly with John Finkel. Kind of like the unhappy old man type of Magic player, if you're familiar with that.
Curmudgeon-esque kind of.
Yeah, it just, when he's winning, he's unhappy, and when he's losing, he's
worse. Yeah,
significantly worse. But he's awesome at Magic.
Yes,
and
clearly.
It's pretty sweet to see him in a top 8 here. You know, making a good run back at you know, high-level tournament play.
Yeah.
Also in this top 8, Caleb Durward. Caleb Durward being somebody who I'm pretty upset is not qualified for the Pro Tour.
Caleb the bridesmaid Durward. I mean,
you know, top 8 at 2 Grand Prix in a row and still not qualified for Pro Tour Avacyn Restored. Because now with the new qualification system, you have to top 4 Grand Prix in order to...
Did he not also come in second place at a recent PTQ?
He did. The week after his second Grand Prix top 8 in a row, he came in second place in a PTQ. All right, so this match that we're about to cover right now is Elliot Raff, who is playing Blue-White Delver, and he's playing against Josh Wagener, who is playing Blue-Black Zombies. Elliot is mulliganing down to 5 right now, which does not bode well for him at all in this match.
Josh Wagener, another name that some of you may not recognize, some of you may, but he was U.S. national champion about 10 years ago.
Yep.
U.S. national champion back Onslaught era, I believe. And we saw him actually at the last Baltimore Open. You and I actually doing the coverage for that, and he made top 8 at that event.
Yes, he did.
Playing, I believe, Mono Black Infect. And here he is with Blue Black Zombies, which, you know, it's a similar, I mean, not really a similar style deck, but, you know, kind of a black aggressive deck again. So sort of on the same kind of page as Infect. Elliot Raff rocking Blue-White Delver. Very solid choice, I think. It's clearly the best deck. Some version of Delver is the best deck, at least in my opinion, in Standard. So, you know, he's got that on his side. Josh Wagener, a very good player.
Yeah, back when he won U.S. Nationals, first prize for that tournament was $25,000.
Wow.
That's like, you know, that's almost like winning a Pro Tour.
Yeah.
You know, nowadays, winning U.S. Nationals is like winning any other Nationals, but it used to be like Pro Tour number 6 or whatever it was, because we used to have a million Pro Tours.
Yeah.
All right, Josh Wagener leads things off with a Grave Crawler. Elliot has no turn 1 play, and Josh is able to apply pressure with a Mortar Pod.
You see, Elliot has a Delver, but did not have a land to come into play untapped there. Expect we'll see the Delver here. Oh no, we have a Thought Scour. So, Plains. Negate. I believe that's Negate.
It's a really questionable keep on Elliot's part. I mean, a lot of people are afraid to go down to 5 cards. They're like, oh, well, I have a land and I have a cantrip. I'm on 6 cards. I have to keep. That's wrong. It's Delver. You can win on 4 cards.
And Josh in with the Germ and the Gravecrawler. It's weird, like I so associate the Germ with a Batterskull. I was like, did Josh just play a Batterskull? Oh, no, it's just the Mortar Pod. And there's a Delver of Secrets. Elliot has a second Glacial Fortress. Comes into play tapped. And Delver goes away. Mortar Pod takes care of that. And Gravecrawler in. Yeah, Josh playing very quickly. Attacking and also casting the Geralf's Messenger at the same time.
And his opponent's tapped out.
Yeah, he's
standard.
Like, yeah, so. So Geralf's Messenger added to the board.
And Josh has a few Phantasmal images in his hand too, so this is...
Yeah, they're basically... Okay, so we have an Invisible Stalker from Elliot. Not the greatest card right now.
Yeah, and Elliot's already going to be at 7, and then the Phantasmal image is going to come down, put him at 5. And then he's
dead next
practically
turn,
dead
yeah.
just to Undying triggers. Like he's dead to the Mortar Pod that's on table. Or he doesn't have
just
to use
plays
an
another
image.
messenger, yeah.
Just plays another messenger, and then if he draws another Drowned
Another sort of
Catacomb,
just like
he can just
2/2,
double
yeah.
it. Yeah. Not that he even needs to.
No. I mean, he can even just equip the Mortar Pod and sacrifice it for another 2. And a Geist of St. Traff from Elliot Raff. And,
And he just dies.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he's dead on board. Josh is a good player. He knows this.
Yeah. I mean, one of those guys gets in. That's really all it matters. He's going to go to 3, and then he can just... did Josh draw land?
No. But after he attacks, Elliot goes to 3, and then if he blocks both messengers, he goes to 3, and then he goes to 1 from that messenger, and then Josh can just equip a Mortar Pod and kill him. Or cast a Phantasmal and copy a messenger.
A whole bunch of options for Josh there to do the last bit of damage. So, Josh Wagener takes game 1. Takes no damage himself. Flawless victory there.
Flawless victory.
We don't get the fatality. That's what I wanted to say. We don't get the fatality until Josh either wins game 2 or one of them wins game 3.
Slightly confused at the end there. So Elliot, the way the number of cards the other had in his hand, did he belong to 5 that game, or?
I thought he did, but I got that number from you. So
yeah. Oh, I had
didn't
said 5.
See it. You said 5. I assumed
then it
you
was
saw
probably
it
5, and I mean, my brain doesn't hold information for that long sometimes. So then that's a fine keep. So apologize to Elliot for questioning his keep. If that's 5 cards and you have those, you need to keep it.
Yeah. You thought he went to 6?
I thought he was on 6 cards, and then that would have been a bad keep, but.
So looking at the sideboards here, Josh he's got Ratchet Bomb, possibility there. He's got 1 Dismember, not really likely to come in, I don't think. You don't want to really dismember a Delver. He's got 2 Go for the Throats, though. Those are helpful if he so chooses to bring those in. Mimic Vat. I've been hearing a lot of people talk about Mimic Vat here this weekend, today specifically. Just chatting about it. Not really.
Maybe
specific.
Josh is the reason they're chatting about it.
Yeah, a friend of mine is actually playing it in Blue-Black Control, I think in the sideboard. And, his opponent must have cast, Inferno Titan, and even though he had the counter spells for it, he was like, sure, and then went Go for the Throat, and then he just burned him out with Mimic Vats. Or with Mimic Vat, just with the Inferno Titans on it, so, I mean...
And Mimic Vat is a really powerful card.
Just doesn't see a lot of play for as powerful as I feel like it is, but, I guess Josh thinks it's pretty good enough to have in the sideboard.
I mean, also, mimic that Allies deck for building on a budget once. It's very fun.
See, now that sounds ridiculous. Just with the Allies. Like, not only that, but I'm getting all these crazy triggers. But yeah, so
I'm getting these comes in play triggers. It makes all my guys bigger every turn. It's sweet. Anyway,
yeah. So Josh has also Black Sun Zenith and Mortar Pod that I think I could see him bringing in here.
All very reasonable.
He has Phyrexian Revoker, but
I mean, he probably wants his Ratchet Bombs. Especially like post board, Blue-White Delver is always going to have timely reinforcements against you. Anywhere from 1 to 3 copies.
Yeah.
And when the Delvers flip, their converted casting cost is actually 0. So you also don't know if the Delver player has Midnight Haunting in their deck, especially when they don't play any spells the whole game.
Yeah.
Moorland Taunt, another
could
reason
have,
why you want that.
This could be Esper Delver for all Josh knows, and Lingering Souls could be a threat. Also, Blade Splicer. We've seen that in some Blue-White Delver lists. So, Ratchet Bomb seems like something you want to bring in. What about Elliot?
On the other side of the table, Elliot has 2 Celestial Purges, which are definitely coming in. A pair of Phantasmal Images, which are definitely coming in. A pair of Oblivion Rings that are definitely coming in. A Batter Skull that's definitely coming in. 2 Timely Reinforcements that are definitely coming in. And a Surgical Extraction, which is definitely coming in. So that's a lot of cards.
It certainly is.
So if we add all that up, that is 6,
like 10
7,
cards?
8, 10. So he's going to need to take 10 cards out. So having a look at what cards he's going to take out. Sword of War and Peace, probably taking that out.
Invisible Stalker?
Yeah, if you're taking out Sword of War and Peace, you're going to want to take out Invisible Stalker. If you're taking out Invisible Stalker, you're going to want to take out Runechanter's Pike. So, then again, Runechanter's Pike does give you guys first strike. Pretty relevant in Creature Mirror. At the same time, the zombie deck has a lot of interactions that kill opponents' creatures. You have a lot of untargetable guys, but it's not necessarily what you want to be doing. The negate, pretty terrible here. Mana Leak, I mean, you probably want to keep in some number, but that's only because Drolf's Messenger is so good.
Yeah.
And the card is just bad beyond Drolf's Messenger, but it's a necessary evil. Gutshot, terrible in this matchup. It hits Gravecrawler, and that's about the only thing besides Phantasmal Image, and you don't really want to be using cards in life to kill Gravecrawler. If you kill a Gravecrawler with a Gutshot, it's basically like you did absolutely nothing because you're taking the damage that Gravecrawler would have dealt you, and then they just get it back for free anyway.
Yeah, it's really not ideal. So
it's like casting a Force Spike where your opponent can pay the 1 mana whenever he wants to.
All right, Elliot to 6.
And Elliot mullioning again. This time he's on the play though, and Delver on the play is a very dangerous animal. Alright, so going to game 2. Elliot's certainly got to like his chances in game 2 against the zombie deck with all the sideboard cards. But, if the zombie deck draws the right half of the deck, it's pretty difficult to beat. One thing I really like about Josh's list is that he's just cut all of the bad cards. Oftentimes you see this deck and it's playing cards like Highborn Ghoul and
Scourgedag High Priest. We've seen that in a lot of his lists. And
it's just chock full of bad cards. It has too many Mortar Pods. He's only got 2 Mortar Pods, and besides that, he's just playing powerful spells. He has 4 Phantasmal Images, which I love. 4 Phantasmal Images is just an excellent, excellent choice. I mean, every time I've seen that card played, I've just been so impressed, and people always draw it, and it's always the best card in their hand.
Yeah, because it's the best card on the board.
Yeah.
All right, so we're getting a Gitaxian Probe from Elliot on turn 1, and there's Phantasmal Image
from Josh.
He's got 4 copies of Phyrexian Obliterator remain. There's one of them, alongside 2 Phantasmal Images, a Ratchet Bomb, and what are those 2?
Dire Equals?
Okay, is that 2 die?
Okay, and I mean that's fair. He does have 2 1-mana, 2-power creatures, so on turn 2 he is going to have 4 points of power on the table, which is pretty impressive. So that's even if he doesn't draw land.
So Swamp Ghoul.
he's happy to draw that second swamp. He would have much rather have been a Drowned Catacomb or a Darkslick Shore, but beggars can't be choosers.
Alright, so Elliot with Island Go, and
2 lands in a row off the top for Josh Wagener. I mean, that's...
Swamp in with the zombie. Some thinking happening. Josh looks like he's going to play Ratchet Bomb, and looks like he changed his mind.
I mean, here it's an interesting choice. Like, you either play Ratchet Bomb or you develop your board. I think you just want to flood the board as much as possible when you're playing against Delver. If you don't commit as much to the board as possible, then it greatly increases the value of the Vapor Snags.
So, speaking of Vapor Snag, end of Josh's turn, Elliot snags one of those ghouls.
Yeah, and now if if Josh had played that Ratchet Bomb instead of the Diregraph Ghoul, then that Vapor Snag would have taken all of the wind out of his sails.
Yeah. So now we've got Snapcaster, Gitaxian Probe, and we see pretty much the same cards he had before. He's been drawing lands ever since. Yeah, he's been drawing lands the entire time.
Which is exactly what he wants to be doing.
All right, so he untaps, draws a card, and it is the Swamp right off the top. Josh not even bothering to put it in his hand. He's just like, yeah, right off the top. So Elliot knows Josh's hand. Josh could have hidden that a little bit from him, which I think would have been better, but at least make Elliot think there's a card he doesn't know. Maybe Elliot was looking the other way, and Josh was like, well, he's not even paying attention. I'll just put this land right here. Nothing wrong with it. It's just information that could have been hidden. So, Ghoul in the red zone. And I believe a second one coming down here. Okay, so he's tapping 3 here, and okay, goes with Ratchet Bomb and Ghoul.
It's pretty good. Snapcaster in for 2, putting Josh down to 17. Elliot casts the Delver Secrets, and is presumably going to pass the turn back over to Josh.
Now it's interesting. Obviously, Josh doesn't want to tick up the Ratchet Bomb to kill his own zombies just to get that Delver, trading 3 cards for 1. But then Elliot then will not want to, I would assume, not want to flip the Delver. So yeah, that was an odd choice, I think, by Josh.
Yeah, that was an odd choice. I wonder if he knows.
Yeah, I mean, he had protection from Delver basically on the table. So Elliot was either just going to stick with a 1/1 or make it, trade the Ratchet Bomb, trade the Delver for the Ratchet Bomb, presuming it flips. But anyway, I guess Josh either didn't realize that or has something else in mind.
Let's see how rusty or sharp Josh's reading skills are right here.
All right, so Vapor Snag on one of your guys from Elliot. That was Snapcaster Vapor Snag, by the way.
Well, Elliot's happy to just press his board advantage here. Josh is going to get that Ratchet Bomb up to 2. Take care of those Snapcaster mages.
And plays a 4th Swamp. Here comes... No, he's going to Distress, yeah. I was going to say he needs to tap 1 more for that Distress if that's what he's considering. And Elliot now says I have Surgical Extraction and I have Oblivion Ring. So what do you want to do? Are there no cards in Josh's graveyard besides that Distress? I guess so. Josh adds another ghoul, the one that was Vapor Snagged. So yeah, Josh took Oblivion Ring there. I believe, you know, Surgical Extraction didn't have any targets besides Distress. Well, no, it couldn't even target Distress, right? Because Distress is still resolving, right?
Yeah.
So, no targets for Surgical Extraction. I think that's
interesting.
Yeah. Elliot paused for a second, like, do I want to use this? No, I guess I can't, can I? So, Delver stays Delver and does not flip into Insectile Aberration. Elliot in the red zone with Mega Man and a Delver. All right, Josh ticks up that Ratchet Bomb to 2, so now he's going to be able to get a 2-for-1. If he wants. Now, he's got double Phantasmal Image, and he's got a Swamp. He could play Phyrexian Obliterator. So, okay, so he kills the Ratchet Bomb, takes care of the Snapcaster Mages, gets in with 2 zombies. Yeah, there's Phyrexian Obliterator, and Elliot did not have an answer a couple of minutes ago.
It's really hard to block that guy.
Okay, so he just Moorland Haunts. Activates Moorland Haunt. Flipping his Delver here. And Elliot at a precarious 8 life casts a Gitaxian Probe, sees Phantasmal Image, so 2 dead cards for Josh for the moment, but if he top decks a blue source, I imagine we're going to see another Phyrexian Obliterator.
Yeah. And that's pretty scary.
Yeah, Josh is fairly safe as far as life total goes. Elliot, not so much. Especially with a Phyrexian Obliterator sitting there, so. Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a problem. Phyrexian Obliterator, the Anti-Negator.
Yeah.
I like the decks that Josh chooses to play.
Yeah.
In his
always,
comeback era.
Yeah, it's always interesting. It's always something a little bit different than what we're used to seeing. Like, I mean, obviously Zombies has become a deck, but it's still not quite as popular. Sam and I were saying, you know, we hadn't seen Zombies all day, and then we suddenly saw 2 zombies in the same match. Not versus each other, but we ended up getting 2 matches in. I should say 2 zombie matches in the same round. So there's a second Ratchet Bomb from Josh, and that is just going to immediately trade with the Delver and the Spirit. Yeah. So this is trouble. Yeah, so he blocks one of the ghouls going to 1 life here, right?
Yep, falls to 1. And does he have a Vapor Snag in his yard? He's dead.
No. So Josh Wagener with 2-0 versus Elliot Raff.
Got him.
No blue sources, but that does not mean a thing.
Does that secure Josh's spot in the top 8?